I'm going to start this Marvel tier list with two villains that I already think everyone in the MCU can agree with, and that is going to be Secret Invasion and the entire premise of She-Hulk. Those are two major villains that nobody likes, and I already think that we don't even need to spend any time with those villains because they don't deserve it. We don't even deserve to speak their names, so they can be erased from the web. But hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to talk about all Marvel villains. Now I know there's so many Marvel villains, so I'm going to try to do a little bit of a speed run here. In terms of my enjoyment, I feel like terms of power is kind of a little bit boring because we already know that Thanos and Loki would decimate the entire MCU at this point, so I don't really think that is that much interesting, but sort of enjoyment wise I think will be really cool because there's a lot of villains here and I might have not remembered all their names, so it's just going to be this man, this person, that person, so I thought it would be really funny. And also, I know that a lot of people love my other Marvel tier list video, and yeah, thanks for all the support. We're literally like 19 subscribers away from 100 subscribers, which is crazy, so thank you so much for the support. But other than that, let's get right into it. So I want to start off with when the villain first, appeared. So obviously we're going to start with like Iron Man, but I might go off the railroads here and try to see other villains if I have more things to say. But with Obadiah Stane taking the first pillar here, I really like the character. I really like the arc. I think copying Tony Stark, it was interesting at first, but over time, villains copying other heroes kind of gets a little bit boring. But he was the first Marvel villain out there, and I really liked his character. And given now that that Ironheart finished and his son is like this robot bioengineered kid something, and he's gone through a dark path, it's just sad to see this family go through all these different emotions, different things in their lives. So I don't know if he's as strong as his dad, but his dad was pretty cool because he was basically an Iron Man ripoff, and he doesn't learn from his mistakes. So I'm gonna put him in the A tier. I think that's gonna be really cool. I just liked his screen time. Really cool story. I didn't build this in the cave. Tony Stark was able to build this in the cave. Was such a great quote. Love that quote. Going into some other villains, I don't really rewatch the Hulk movie, and I haven't watched the Hulk movie. I really wish there was a Hulk sequel with Mark Ruffalo, like his own solo film. And Captain America Brave New World was such a huge movie that I was so enjoyed for, and that was so hyped about, and that turned into a Hulk sequel, and I didn't really like it. I didn't really like the thinker as much, or the person that apparently made the Hulk. And then the Abomination was a cool character, and then they kept milking it in She-Hulk, and then put him in Shang-Chi. They just keep putting him everywhere, and I don't know where he's going. So they really, I don't know, they made the Hulk villains kind of to me. I don't know. So to me, Abomination, where's my boy Abomination? I can't even find this guy because he's over here. Oh, here he is. I'm gonna put him in the I'll put him in the C tier. He's pretty cool, but the other characters, not really thinking it. And this can also count to the Brave New World villain. Also kind of mid. I will give him this. I'll give him credit for his, making Harrison Ford turn into Big Red Hulk. That was a cool plan because he lost his own plan that he was trying to do, and he was kind of cool. It was, again, a political thriller, so a very interesting film. But no, I don't think he's a god tier villain, and I was not enjoying it. And even then, people were leaking what he was going to look like, and he didn't even look like that. So he was not really a really cool character in terms of appearance. So already very underwhelming, not really cool. I'll put the Hulk version of him a bit higher once I see him around. I can't even see him anywhere. He's super. I don't even know where he is. He doesn't even compete with any of these guys. He's just a man, I don't know. He has a brain that's crazy, and that movie sucked. Both movies were kind of mid. Okay, let's go into the other one. So that would have been Iron Man 2. Now this guy, where is this guy? This guy was such an interesting character. I love the actor. He's in a lot of other projects, and I think personally he did a great job. for what he is. Whiplash, yes, Whiplash, very interesting character. I'm gonna put him in the B tier. I personally loved his like weapon things that he was doing, and I didn't really like that he was also kind of becoming an Iron Man villain again. He was just doing what he did, but originally when they have that like race fight scene with Iron Man, that was a really cool fight scene. I really enjoyed that. I don't know if anyone really enjoys Iron Man 2. I know there's a lot of hate with it, but I personally enjoyed that villain. Now also there was the arms dealer guy that apparently is supposed to come in Armor Wars, but I don't know if that movie's coming out. Hammer, he was a really cool villain. I just love his energy. I'll put him also in the B tier. Loved his energy. Thought he was pretty cool, but he was kind of, I think he got arrested and then he went nowhere, so it kind of sucks. But really cool villain there. I really did like him. Going into what the Thor movie, yes. Now this kind of brings it into both Loki and the sort of Frost Giants, and hopefully the Frost Giants is on this tier list. But I will have to say, given that Loki for this movie, I feel like wasn't as good as Avengers. Loki was so much cooler, and then given that we saw him in Thor: The Dark World, and then we saw him in, of course, Thor Ragnarok, and then obviously Avengers Infinity War, and now we see him in Loki season 1 and season 2, it's hard to really presumably put his character and just grade it on one individual film. I'm putting him in God tier just because he carried the MCU from that point on, and everybody loved him after Thor. I think Thor was a good film on its own, but it wasn't as good without him. Like he made Thor movies amazing. That's why I feel like Love and Thunder wasn't as a good movie, because it was just So I really enjoyed that. I think the Frost Giants were kind of cool, but Loki definitely carried it, and I think going forward from that, everyone just loved seeing him, and I loved seeing him as well. Okay, what is a Captain America? Yes, Captain America. This was a really good, solid movie, and I personally love the Hydra guy. He was such a cool villain. He was like, okay, he found the Tesseract and he used that to make his own weapons. Like this guy was such an interesting villain, and obviously they put him on a cool like cliffhanger if we're ever gonna see him again, and then we did with the Soul Stone, and a lot of people still to this day would love to see Chris Evans see him again. Red Skull was so cool. I personally hope that there's gonna be more projects with him in the future, but I don't think there will be, so it's kind of I think What If could maybe explore that more, but again, we saw some of it in What If, and then we didn't really see it again because What If no one likes What If as much, so What If kind of mid. But anyway, I think that was a cool villain. But for his film, I am going to put him in A tier again. I thought it was a great movie. First Avenger I think was solid, but Winter Soldier and Civil War are something else to me. So very cool there. Now we get into the Avengers movies. Now, Avengers, like, obviously, Thanos didn't have his, main Infinity War Endgame appearance yet. It was just, he was there for a brief second, and then Loki obviously carried the movie, and Loki was the sort of the main villain at that point. But I will say, just to get ahead of it, I will put Thanos in the God tier just already, because this started the hype train for him, and then this just made Loki even more cool, because now he's got an army. So there's a lot of moving parts here, so I already know that these two guys were going to carry all the next upcoming movies. So very cool stuff there, and I was already really thrilled for Phase 2 and Phase 3. We got Thor the Dark World, yes, was the next movie, and this was with Malekith, I think his name was. Oh my god, so underwhelming. I'm gonna put him in the D tier. This guy, like, I couldn't, like, the only time I really found enjoyment was when he got the Reality Stone, which at the time I think wasn't considered a Infinity Stone. Like, after James Gunn made that storyline actually happen, so it was just a really cool, interesting sort of final fight, but very bland, very boring movie. I think it was bad. I think I hate it more than Thor: The Love and Thunder. It's not good. It's not good at all. So we're gonna put him there. And what's the other movie? Iron Man 3. Yes, Iron Man 3. Who was the villain? Oh yeah, the guy that all his skin turns red. That guy was a pretty interesting guy. I will give him that. And I don't know if people really remember that film very well, or his people very well, but You know, like it's cool, I guess, that they did that arc. Again, Iron Man's third movie is kind of just like, okay, we're doing more, but it's sort of just looking back on the Avengers movies, and Avengers movies were so much more cooler. I will give them this, that the presumably fake villain was so much more interesting than the main villain, so I'll put that in B tier. I thought that was really cool to put him as like this huge villain, and we were like, okay, this guy's getting all the hype, and then after it, midway through, they go like, nope, he's not that guy, and this other guy was it. But I'll put him in the C tier. Like, he was kind of cool with this like sort of blood fuel thing. I don't really know what it's called, but I really like the other guy more than he did. That's just me. And the other guy actually won in Shang-Chi, and he's going to be in Wonder Man, so there's going to be some cool projects. He might get more screen time, so really cool stuff there. I also forgot the Malekith soldier. I think he's going to be higher than Malekith. He's going to be in D tier. He had a cool like little cool battle scene that and then the grenade just destroyed him. So he's cool. He's much more cooler than Malekith. That's just me. Hopefully I get all these villains on the right go, but it might be back and forth here. But okay, what's after? Oh yeah, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Now I already can tell that there's some interesting villains here already. Now going into it, the director's pretty cool. I'll put him in C tier, but I'm not gonna put him as much because he's kind of like, okay, he's cool, but he doesn't really do too much. And then obviously his death scene. The other guys that I don't really care for was the soldier at the beginning of the movie. That was kind of bland, not really anything there. There was also the guy that got ran by a truck, who was in all the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I will put him also in C tier. He was pretty interesting, but we didn't really see much of him if you didn't watch the show, which I didn't. I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's just me. So it was, there was but going forward, I think everyone's asking me, all right, what about Bucky? Now, Bucky redeemed himself, all right? He redeemed himself in the long run, but for this movie, he was straight up God tier, so I'm also going to put him in God tier, because he carried his weight. I think everyone just loved seeing him, and he was very an interesting, cool, silent, hyping up villain all throughout the movie, and that's why Winter Soldier gets the love that it does. Without him, it was not like that. So already total villain, and they just nerfed him to ground beef after a couple of movies, and now Thunderbolts, he was just getting yeeted around by Sentry. But I did really like his character in this. Going into the next movie, if I got it right, is going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy, which you already know is going to be Ronan. Now, Ronan and the Collector, I personally love them. I personally actually enjoy the Collector more than Ronan. And then Ronan was I don't really enjoyed him in his little cameo in Captain Marvel. I didn't really enjoy that. I thought he was an interesting character. He was like, okay, Thanos, listen to me, and Thanos was like, no, don't do that. This just made Thanos more threatening. And Ronan went to go get the Power Stone, and then he was kind of like a little baby, and then he went to the planet and was like, okay, I'm gonna kill everybody, and then this guy just died to freaking Star-Lord dancing. So not really that crazy. And then we also have this guy that was like apparently, I don't even know what he was doing. He's apparently a villain. He didn't want to help Star-Lord with the Power Stone at all, and he's just kind of mid. So yeah, I don't even know about him. He was in, I actually put him in D+. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which was kind of cool, but nothing else. The Collector, though, I'll put him A tier. I thought he was enjoyable, and obviously you didn't get to see much of him, but I thought if they gave him more screen time, we could have loved this. And then this brings us to Yondu, which Yondu is also A tier. Yondu was such a cool villain for this film. I think a lot of people kind of got a bit of annoyed on who he was, and then eventually people started to love him, and then obviously Guardians 2 came along and said, shit that bad. I enjoyed him, like, always like, okay, we're gonna go kill you, Star-Lord, but in the end, I think he didn't want to kill him. But it was really cool. It was like a cool father-son bonding that really started to happen here, or well, daddy-son bonding here. So really cool stuff. I personally enjoyed that film. So again, Guardians was super epic. Another guy, I'll put him in D tier. This guy was the guy that wanted to fight Star-Lord, but he didn't know his name. So he's pretty cool. He's played by a great actor, but kind of bland. Nothing really crazy, kind of bland, but really cool stuff. Oh, I did forget the guy that in Iron Man that died. He gets to go and D plus tier. This was the head guy that held Tony hostage. So really cool character, but not really anything to say about him anymore. Nothing crazy. This also showed Nebula as a villain. I loved her arc, and now she's sort of like, she's just, you know, there with the Guardians. But at the time, she was kind of mid. I'll put her also at B tier. Nothing crazy, but it was cool to see that she was eventually shown that she was tortured by Thanos, because Thanos actually loved Gamora way more than she loved her. And, you know, Gamora is the main villain. Gamora is the main villain for making her for her sister to go through all that. But yeah, again, you know, pretty cool. Nothing crazy. But, you know, we'll see as time goes forward. Okay, continuing into the next film. Oh, I did forget Iron Giants. Iron Giants were pretty cool in the Thor movie, but they just got like that first bit of screen time in the beginning, and we thought those were going to be the main villains, and then obviously Loki came in and stole the show. I'll put them in the C tier. They were kind of cool, but nothing crazy as Loki compared to that. Going into other villains, the Celestials. Now, the Celestials was also in Guardians for that brief time that really started, like, again, the Infinity War story line with all the Infinity Stones. But given that they were presumably pretty much aura farming for 1 minute of screen time by blowing up an entire planet, I'll put them in A tier. I think that was pretty cool to just decimate a planet for a minute and then be like, okay, these things are pretty powerful, don't mess with them. So pretty interesting stuff there. I will also put the Collector from What If up there from A tier. You know what? I'll put the Collector in B tier in the live action, but the animation I'll put them in A tier. That changes the script here a little bit, so it tells you who Collector I like more. But they're both pretty cool. I will also put the Thor the giant guy that was pretty cool. He had some aura farming, so he can go in the C tier. He was an interesting character. Again, it was just like a robot, but I really like the design of how they did him. Very cool, very cool. I like how that guy was like the only guy basically that they that the entire Asgard army was like, okay, bring this guy in, and he apparently couldn't die without Mjolnir just like smashing right into his skull. But anyway, pretty cool. Now we go into the Avengers Age of Ultron, which is really awesome movie, and already you know where I'm putting my boy Ultron. Now, Ultron was aura farming. That is the best thing I can say about this guy. This guy goes in God tier. I loved Ultron. I felt like he was just an interesting villain. People don't like him as much. He's coming back in Vision Quest, so I think a lot of people will start to be hyped again for him. I think a lot of people are actually very hyped for the film just because of him, but he got a mixed rep when the movie came out apparently, and this also just gave more Thanos some more aura farming. But very cool character, and I loved how they played through him. And in What If, they just made him a total badass, which I just loved even more, because this guy he got some good screen time. I will give him that. Going into some other villains within that film, what else did we see? We also saw this guy that just got Ultron just killed him. He was the guy that you know held both Wanda and Quicksilver and was part of Hydra after Hydra sort of fell, and then this guy got decimated in a jail cell. Sort of detail, very mid. We only got to see a couple minutes of him. Kind of just boring. Nothing crazy here, but maybe in the long term, maybe they'll revisit some of these guys in another Hydra project, but I don't know. I know everyone's talking about Chris Evans returning in Doomsday or Secret Wars as an evil Hydra variant, and then Hydra characters will come back, but I don't know about that. You know, it's kind of just like So yeah, that's where I'm at with that project. What other awesome projects are there? There was also the Black Panther, like one of the major Black Panther villains that was a part of like the black market that sold Wakanda technology, which was really cool. But I ultimately loved him more in that Black Panther movie than I liked him in Age of Ultron. That's just me. So I'm gonna put him in the B tier. I thought he was pretty cool, but again, Killmonger kind of decimated him too early. We didn't get to see him. Oh, so Killmonger goes in God tier. There's enough said. I thought he was a great villain. A lot of people loved his character. A lot of people hated how he died, but he came back in Wakanda Forever. So already the Black Panther movie, like, that was just amazing. Total amazing movie that I loved. Going into the next project, which was Doctor Strange. Now, Doctor Strange was also aura farming, and Dormammu was just he was pretty cool. I will put him in C tier. I loved his appearance, but he was kind of mid. He couldn't get his goal of destroying the Earth because Doctor Strange was just too much of an aura farmer on him, and that's just how it is. So it's sad to see, but I did like Dormammu. But I will say Caecilius was way more of a cool villain. I will put him in A tier. I really love the actor that plays him. I thought they did a great job, and there was talks to actually have him as Doctor Doom before RDJ. That was one of the main other casting characters, but people didn't want him to play that character already because he already played a Marvel character. Now this also brings us to sort of Doctor Strange 2 in a way, because I just want to talk about it because I have some strong feelings. Mordo was so underutilized and just went through the shit. I really enjoyed his character, and then they had a huge cool post-credit scene, and then they removed it, and then they said behind the scenes in Doctor Strange 2 that he was apparently hunting Doctor Strange, and there was a fight or something, and we didn't really get to see that. And then in Doctor Strange 2, it was his character, man, it was sad to see. I do not like what Marvel did with his character at all, and it really sucks to see what they did. So already not a feeling for that, but I will give this. Wanda was such an epic villain in Doctor Strange 2. It was unreal. It was surreal. Now I get it. People didn't like the movie because there were some things. I know, but I thought with what they could do with the Scarlet Witch, it was pretty much more what they could have done with any other villain. I feel like with Sam Raimi, he was trying to get that sort of horror vibe going into the film, and I think a lot of people were expecting this huge other film. Of course, they were also expecting horror elements, but again, it was pretty hard to figure out how to do that. And I'm starting to realize I do not have a Scarlet Witch picture here. I thought I did. I am pretty mad that I don't. So we'll come back to that. We'll put that photo in. Don't worry about it. Now going into the next movie, which was the best Captain America movie of all time, Civil War, which I think a lot of people loved. It resonated with a lot of people. First villain already off the bat. This guy basically was one of the agents of Hydra, and then this guy just went all town on Captain America, and then he went out with a bang. Like, I really mean it. Like, he went out with a bang. Really cool villain, really awesome creature. And another character that I also loved was Zemo. Zemo was so awesome. I thought his depiction to get the heroes to fight each other instead of fighting him was so cool. The way of how he was making Bucky go crazy again. There was a lot of amazing elements with this story, and I think the show was pretty cool in continuing his story. And then there was talks he was going to be in Thunderbolts, and then they didn't do it. So hopefully he comes back soon in the future. But I did really love how he made Civil War that much more epic and badass. So such a great film. I totally recommend. I might go rewatch it sooner or later, but again, pretty goddamn awesome. Going into the next film, which was, let's do Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was a sick film. It had a lot of characters, and I'm already going to start with Vulture. Vulture was an A-tier villain. I already loved Vulture as an A-tier villain. He was just like, I just love Michael Keaton, and then I also loved how they made him this like really interesting character of both, like, okay, he's doing it out of desperation for just money for his family at first after his job got laid off, and then he changed into just wanting to do it more and more often. The other characters, though, not really crazy. The D tier, like, this was the old guy that or not old guy, or guy that was trying to just be obnoxious while using the weaponry when Michael was like, no, don't do that, and then he just got obliterated. The other guy, the Shocker, this guy was pretty cool. He was there for like a minute, though, so nothing like as cool with this guy, only than the school bus fight. But for Spider-Man villains, these guys were pretty cool. I did like, I'm gonna put the guy that was sitting on the computer. He was pretty cool. I'll put him in A tier. He wasn't as bad as I thought he was gonna be. I loved his humor, and I loved his new weaponry. It was pretty interesting. Going into, what was another character? Oh yes, Scorpion. Now Scorpion, we saw only a post-credit scene. I'm hoping we'll see him in the future. I'll put him in C tier because I've been hearing that he's going to likely come back in Brand New Day. I'm holding out hope, but I do not know if that is the case. I feel like they brought a villain in, and then they brought Mysterio out of all people for the second movie, and then we didn't see him in Spider-Man 3. So they're putting a lot of villains in the next film, so hopefully we'll hold out hope there. That does bring me into saying Spider-Man Mysterio was kind of mid, but I did sort of enjoy the actor that plays him and some of the cool elements of the deception that he was trying to play, and making everyone confused with drones. But I don't know if drones was a cool thing. I really wish it was magic, like a real magic guy that was being like a total like villain, but I don't know if I like that. So I'll put him in the D tier. He's okay. I understand the midness, the mixed reviews on the second Spider-Man movie, but I have to say the character appearance and the actor that plays him is pretty interesting. So hopefully people will start to enjoy that movie again, but I don't think it will. It's after Endgame. The hype is starting to dial down. Phase 3 is coming to a conclusion, so it's it's what is the next big project? Now, this would be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and already I enjoyed Ego as a character. I thought Ego was a really cool B-tier villain. I love, one, the actor, and two, I thought the premise of he actually being a total freak job asshole trying to take over the world, and his dad was Star-Lord's dad. It was just crazy. But it was very interesting to see how the Guardians were able to overcome Ego, and then that led to, of course, Yondu's death, to sacrifice to save Star-Lord. But I thought James Gunn handled him very well. He's not really supposed to be like this crazy, cool, gigantic guy like Thanos, but he's supposed to be, again, a Celestial, and Celestials were aura farming in the first film already for 1 minute, so this guy was definitely going to aura farm again. So really, really cool stuff here. Some other villains, like I thought the Scarface guy was kind of interesting. I loved everyone that's making just mocks and jokes at him, and then he just died because Yondu was like, okay, you killed everybody of my gang, I'm gonna kill your gang, and then that happened. So kind of cool. I don't know if how I agree with the other Civilization type of villains that Rocket kind of stole batteries from. I don't think they deserved it, but they were kind of cool. Again, they were sort of just out there. Same in the third film. I didn't really see as much. Again, the amazing Phase 5 villain Kit was just so epic. I'm going to put him in God tier because he was just amazing. I think a lot of people hated him just because of what he was doing with brutality of animals and everything. A lot of people loved Guardians 3, but the villain was so good at his role that a lot of people hated him because he was a guy. And then that led me to think differently with these other characters because they were okay, they were cool, but again, James Gunn has said that Adam Warlock was the hardest part of Guardians to put in because he left it open in the second film, and I think that whole plot line kind of just was in the middle of what the major big stories of the third and second film were trying to cover. So they didn't really get as much. They didn't hit me as much as I thought it would, but it was pretty cool. It was still cool. That's how I feel about the film. Now, going into the last film of 2017, which was Thor Ragnarok, and holy crap, this movie did not disappoint. I think a lot of these villains are A tiers. Surtur already was an A tier. I thought his appearance, the way that he only got like a little amount of screen time, but he knew Ragnarok was coming. I thought that was a great way to start the film. I thought that the ending, he turning into a monster and obliterating everything, was super cool. It was just... it was perfection. We also got the guy that was the janitor, and then he was Hela's like guard at the time as well, and this guy was also A tier. Like this guy coming out at the end with the guns blazing, also really cool. I loved how he was originally a villain and then he changed into a hero, and then he died as a hero's sacrifice. But as a villain, he was okay. But I love the actor, the boys guy. He was cool. He only got the small role, but he didn't want to mess with Hela, and that leads us to Hela. Hela was also A tier. I really liked her as a villain. I thought it was pretty cool to see a lot of people, I think, enjoy her character. I think it was very cool to have the goddess of death in this entire plot twist of like, oh yeah, Odin, by the way, he was not a good guy all the time back then, and that led me to think differently of him. That he was not a good father at all, and he did all this. So yeah, blame it on Odin, bro. But no, I thought Hela was really cool, and then bringing Loki and Thor into it with the Valkyries and everything, a really great third film, seriously, and that brought us right into Infinity War. So I have no doubt that I will go and rewatch that again. That was such amazing film. Now I'm gonna give the Wolfie Doggy God tier because I like wolves, and man, this guy this doggy wanted to have a fight with Hulk, man. I tell you, there was a huge Hulk fight, and this brought, like, we didn't see Hulk for like 2-3 years, man. We needed another Hulk fight, and Hulk with this doggy was such such a great fight battle. It was just fun, you know. So I will give him God tier. It was so awesome. Another awesome villain that I love that also is getting God tier is the Grandmaster from that planet that Thor got dropped at. That was pretty cool to see him. I love the actor. He's in all those goddamn commercials for Jurassic World and everything, and he in all those interesting other ads. But no, I thought he was really cool. I thought the entire planet's style and interesting aesthetic really made this villain attached to me, and I liked in What If they really also made him way cooler. I thought it was pretty cool, and he's technically, you know, I don't really want to see him as a villain. He's just a guy doing his own thing. But no, I thought it was pretty cool that he had fights between other people that he captured. I thought that was a really interesting story. So pretty cool stuff there. Going into the next film, which I believe would be the Black Panther film, which I already covered, which is obviously Killmonger and this other guy, which is pretty cool. And then we have Infinity War. Oh, baby, Infinity War. All right, Thanos is God tier. Obviously, you know. Going into some of the people that he was with, like his little army that he made, I really like this telekinesis guy. He gets A tier. I thought it was really cool. I didn't really like how they killed him off so quickly, and then they brought him back to then really not do anything with him. Obviously, Thanos had to lose in Endgame. It wasn't like they were gonna have Thanos win, but in the first like couple minutes, he was like a strong guy. It's sad we didn't see much of him or backstory or anything as some of these awesome characters. That's like the only complaint I have, that I wanted to see more. But given that they did a lot with him, that's pretty cool. I am also gonna bring the cool like Dark Reaper guy. He was pretty interesting. I really liked his appearance aesthetic. The other two people, I don't know, the fake Hulk ripoff. He's kind of cool. You know, nothing crazy, but pretty cool. That's the same with the other person that they did, which was a huge like blade lady. Nothing crazy there as well, but I thought those were pretty interesting characters, but I really did want more. I think that was like the problem with Infinity War, was that we didn't get enough time. I love the movie. I thought it was perfect in terms of screen time and everything, but I wanted more. If you were going to introduce some of these new characters for Infinity War, and then Endgame, again, the main focus was elsewhere, then, you know, it just kind of felt like, okay, this is where you get your first appearance, and then this is where you obviously die. So all of them did die. So it was like, okay, you know what I mean? But yeah, so interesting stuff. Next one was the Ant-Man 2 film, and I just forgot the first Ant-Man film. And I'm forgetting the villain name. Oh, yes, the yellow Ant-Man. I'm sorry I skipped the Ant-Man franchise. Oh, crap, I feel so bad. I skipped Ant-Man. So sorry about that. I actually really did enjoy Ant-Man's villain. I'll put him in the B tier. I thought the appearance was very well done with the yellow, the suit and everything. But I do not like how they made him a villain in the third film, and they brought him back as Mordo. Oh, that was so bad. I liked him in the first Ant-Man movie, and that was pretty awesome. And I'm already feeling so bad that I forgot about the film. But that it was pretty cool. I did like that. In the second film, because now we're in the second film now, Ghost is actually a tier villain for me. I feel like a lot of people think she's like underrated, and I do believe she's underrated a lot, but I enjoyed her. And then in Thunderbolts, she kind of got some redemption, bro. She was I love her appearance now, but I think they did her very well. I thought no one really thinks about the second Ant-Man film as much, but it was basing on the hype of Infinity War, so many might forget about it. But I thought for what it's worth, it was a nice, interesting film to get Ant-Man back into the story, and then to know that Ant-Man's whole franchise was kind of like the savior of the entire MCU. Yet we shit on it a lot, and don't talk about the third film. We're waiting about the third film. We're not speaking about that movie yet. So yeah, I thought also the guy that I forgot his name for him, the guy that plays Cecil, and what is the other thing he does? Fallout, yes. He's C tier, like he's kind of mid. I didn't really, he has some funny moments, but nothing too crazy. And I think they only did him for like one movie, and that's kind of it. We won't really see him again, so kind of bland, but nothing too bad. Hopefully we'll see him more in the future, but. Yeah, I am very thrilled to see when we get to the Ant-Man 3 movie, What is the next movie? Captain Marvel. Oh dear God, not this film. Okay. For this film, I don't know really where to put any of these characters. I slept through this movie, and I haven't been able to watch it fully without sleeping through it. So we're just gonna put all of these guys all in D+ tier. It's not like, I don't know. I didn't really attach to any of these characters at all. It's just me. If you like the movie, I'm glad, but no. I will put the guy that was sort of like the fake leader, if you will, the friend of Captain Marvel. I'll put him up here, but I don't presumably think any of these characters are any higher or going to be any higher in my list in any projects, and that can lead us into Marvels 2 for a minute. Disappointing, some enjoyable moments, but mostly disappointing. Character felt like Ronan, but worse. I didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy that movie. The only I only found enjoyment with like the multiverse element at the very end, and the bracelets and everything. But other than that, nope, not feeling it. Did not feel for that film. And I'm glad there was a wait before Deadpool, because we need more quality than quantity after that. So nothing really cool there in terms of the Marvel franchise. And I don't think we're ever going to get a Captain Marvel 3 now. I really don't. And I don't think anyone needs one. But there's talks that there won't be ever one. So that's where we're at. And going into the next film, Avengers and Endgame, which I believe is already covered, because Thanos was the main villain there already. And yeah, that really kind of covers it, with Endgame, because Endgame was amazing and Endgame awesome. And going into some of the next projects after Endgame was Far From Home, which we already covered too, which was the Mephisto mid Mephisto, which Another movie going into Phase 4 finally, which is Black Widow. Oh man, Black Widow was a mid movie. It had some good characters. Taskmaster, D tier. It was going to be C tier after Thunderbolts, because I heard there was going to be talks that they were going to redeem the character. But no, spoiler alert, they kill her, and it's kind of mid, and the movie does not make her look as a cool, interesting character. I feel like it's just got the shield, got combat, elements in there with knife fights and stuff, and a Black Widow villain, but not really an interesting character. This is the same with Drago. I don't know. I don't know. It's okay. Like, it's cool, but nothing really interests me as much with those characters in the Black Widow movie. This also brings us to the director at the time, which apparently was hunting both the Thunderbolt Ross was hunting Black Widow, and then he was also going to be the Red Hulk, but Harrison Ford covered for him. But I'm just going to say that this character was in the C tier. He has a lot of good moments. Rest in peace, the actor. But for this, he's not really a villain. He's just like a guy trying to arrest people, and that doesn't, not to these type of guys. These guys, they do some mass genocide or crazy shenanigans. This guy doesn't go to that level. But it's okay. It's okay. So interesting there. Now I could go into what if real quick before I go into Shang-Chi. What if Antman, this awesome Dr. Pin guy, this guy goes in A tier. Pretty cool. I liked how they made him like this interesting portrayal of him being like a total asshole and then killing the Avengers. Really interesting character that they did there. This guy already, evil Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange Supreme, whatever you want to call it, a god tier. I loved him. I loved how they did his arc, and it's sad we didn't get that in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I really wanted that story to just go live action, and a lot of people, I think, heavily agreed with that, but they didn't do that way. I go like, how can you make it such a cinematic masterpiece and not go that way? I never understood it. So that really did suck. So stuff like that is just, insulting. Going into anything else there, we did have some of the TV shows. I'm already going to put Loki, this other Loki version, God tier, because, come on. He's Loki. He's already a god tier before. Now he's still a god. Some of the other characters, like I did really enjoy these other Loki characters, as well as Sylvie. Sylvie was awesome. I really enjoyed a lot of the other Lokis. It was just cool to see so many Lokis. You know, Multiverse was kind of bad. Red Slinger, it was cool. Her arc was cool, but I don't know if she died at the end. She goes in B tier. I don't really know if she will get more story in the future. I know she was going to be heavily involved with the Kang Dynasty, but it's kind of mid now. But for what it's worth, she had a lot of stuff in season 2 as well that was heavily implying that her and Kang had this relationship, and Kang was just a total menace. That brings me to He Who Remains, which, man, was just an awesome villain. I don't have He Who Remains. I just have Kang the Conqueror here, but I will put He Who Remains in A tier. A tier was just, it was so awesome to see him, and it was so great to finally get a major villain for the next phase. It was so thrilling, so like suspenseful with his whole dialogue and everything. And Kang the Conqueror, for what it's worth, he goes in A tier as well. Like, I enjoyed his character, and he was the only amazing element in Ant-Man 3, but other than that, there was nothing else. And I understand a lot of people is just very mad with Marvel with the direction they took and the direction that he took in life. And yeah, I don't know, I really, like, some part of me is like, after Doomsday and Secret Wars, I would have loved to see how Kang Dynasty would have gone, but a lot of people have said that like the Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts would have had no connection in that movie yet, so it was just going to be Sam Wilson's Avengers and Loki on the other side, and then it was going to be just hunting Kangs and stuff. I don't know if it was going to be like a big movie that we're really getting now. We don't even know if the Russos or RDJ would ever come back to that. So, but Jonathan Majors did put himself out there in Loki season 2 for a really good finish if that was going to be the last time we see him. Again, I would have loved to see him in like What If, and then we just go, huge crazy mode, but Ant-Man 3, worst place to put his villain, and didn't show the full length of it. He should have won in the Ant-Man film. Someone should have died, and Scott should have just got stuck in the Ant-Man realm at that point. There should have been a lot of interesting stories there. It would have been really cool. Other things, WandaVision, Agatha. Agatha is a B tier. I loved her character. I don't know if I really agree totally with the decision to make her own show, but in WandaVision she was great. I thought that was a cool twist. I personally very much enjoyed it. And now I'm realizing that I forgot the Iron Man guy, this guy that just got destroyed. He didn't have any aura, so he can go in D tier as well. I forgot about them. I can't believe I forgot about him. And I'm also forgetting this guy, which I forgot. I don't know if he's the Black Widow villain or if he's from the Ant-Man film. I forgot his name. I really... Put in the comments. I forgot this guy, so I'll put him in D tier. I don't even remember that guy at all. I don't know if he was a Red Guardian guy or with him in the prison, or if he was an Ant-Man. I really don't know. Same with this guy. I really don't know as much. The director pissed me off so much. I'm putting him in D tier. I hated him. I hated him. It just annoyed me so much, and I don't like if I like them. Like, it's different with the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 villain, because I really think they put a lot of depth into it. They didn't put any depth into this guy. Everyone just hated him. He was not a really cool character. For the Captain America show, I will put the villain for it of the Skull Crushers. I think that was the name of the squad. I don't know if it was called the squad, the Skull Crushers, but I will put her in B tier. I thought they did her very well. But the story of Captain America's show could have went way better. Could have done better with it. I'll just put it at that. There were some moments where I was like, but she showed like terrorism, like this is some crazy stuff after everyone came back, like the human stuff that we don't get to see, the people, the individual stuff, not the superheroes, what they have to go through. And I think that was a really cool way to put it. Sharon was kind of cool, but they didn't do it. They didn't do with anything with her in the movie, so they kind of just left her out. So that kind of that was kind of meh, nothing crazy. So stuff like that. Now, holy crap, Shang-Chi's dad gets God tier, and then this guy gets B tier. I love the father. I didn't like the third arc in the movie, but the first 2 arcs I love the father in that film. It's just so goddamn awesome, and the actor is so good. I just really liked how they did Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi's a great movie. Can't wait for the sequel. I'm going there day one. But yeah, that I don't know why they did it the way they did it. It should have been the father-son battle, and then leave him out for more stories. Don't get him killed by a CGI dragon. I don't know if I agree with that. And then the soldier had some really cool combat styles and battles, and I can't wait for the director of this guy to do Wonder Man, and now he's going to do the Spider-Man movie with this direction, so it's going to be really cool to see what they do, and I can't wait for it. I don't know this villain. I feel like I don't remember him from anywhere. I feel like he's like a big villain, but I still don't know anything. RDJ, there's RDJ. There's Echo. Echo was cool in the Hawkeye show, but I don't know if I liked her as much in the Echo show. I just feel like the show could have delved more into a bigger story. I really felt like I didn't know where it was going, other than just cameoing the major characters from Daredevil at that point. So that's where I'm at. And now I'm forgetting that I don't have freaking Kingpin on here, and now I'm upset. I don't have Kingpin or Wanda in here, and now I'm annoyed. But Echo kind of goes in the C tier. Cool character, but wish there was more there. Bullseye is gonna be God tier. Bullseye, because Bullseye is just so goddamn incredible. I love the character they did, and I think even though the Daredevil Born Again show had some mixed rep, I think they did handle his character in 3-4 good solid episodes, so I'm very thrilled that he's going to be back. And there's talks of doing like a presentation like they're doing with Punisher, so very awesome stuff there. And Punisher would be God tier, but at the same time, would I consider Punisher a villain? That's where I'm kind of like mixed on, because he's more just doing his own thing, and I don't know really if he's, technically a as he was in Daredevil season 2. Season 2 he was definitely a villain, but I don't know anymore actually going into that. Some other characters, Muse was pretty good, B tier, but I didn't like how they killed him, or presumably killed him, and some of the ways of how they did it. He was only in there for like 2 episodes, and it felt mid. It felt like we needed more time with him, more time to understand the character, and that kind of sucked. That would be different for Void, because Void is an A-tier villain. I love Void as a character. I love Sentry in Thunderbolts, and Void was just so good. Mental health awareness stuff like that was amazing. Felt like the direction there with Void was awesome. RDJ, again, too, I'll get to that last. Mephisto, this was in the recent Ironheart project. Very cool. I really liked how they did it. I'm going to put him in B tier for now, but I feel like a lot of people compare this to He Who Remains' first reveal, because this is supposed to start the superficial storyline, the supernatural storyline in the MCU after the multiverse is done. This will bring us in the Midnight Suns, some more Doctor Strange projects, the Ironheart continuation, obviously, the Young Avengers. This is supposed to be a big thing here, and I think they did that one episode very well. The actor plays it great, but I really wish we got more time. I was hoping in episode 4 or 5 that we were going to see him earlier, we were going to get more screen time, but he only did 1 episode, so it sucks. That's why I think a lot of people are still going to push for an Ironheart season 2, because this villain carried the whole way through it, and I loved it. Cassandra Nova was, okay. Nothing crazy, but I thought she was an interesting villain enough for Deadpool and Wolverine. That was such a great movie, but I thought the villain could have been much more epic, in my opinion. I feel like I still don't know this guy. I don't even remember him. I'm gonna put him in D tier, but I feel like someone's gonna say in the comments that you just put an amazing character in here, but I really don't know who this person is. I really don't. Galactus for now already. I'm putting in the hype train. I will likely put him. Oh, this is hard. I'll put him in A tier, just because the trailers are making him super cool, making him just super suspenseful and very epic. I think him barely. We haven't even heard what he hears or his voice yet, but I can already tell they're putting a lot of effort into making him this cool villain, and already seeing a finally good live action Galactus. I'm so thrilled. And I will also put RDJ in A tier. These are, again, predictions for what I hopefully will believe he will bring to the table as Doctor Doom. Can wait and see, but those are the 2 characters that I'm hoping for the future that they can get it right. But we will see. Other than Wanda and other than Kingpin, which I believe would go in A and God tier, which I think Kingpin is just the best character in all of Marvel television, and Wanda was a great Doctor Strange villain, I think, but there could have been more time approached with her, and her storyline within the show of her own show, and then the connection with Multiverse of Madness, I think it was pretty good. But other than those two characters that I'm really annoyed that I didn't put in here, I think that really covers all of it. Obviously, the MCU has way more villains, and I didn't get to them all, but this has a lot. This has a really huge amount of villains. I'm very excited to see where the MCU goes in Phase 6. I'm wanting some more bigger villains. We're already going to get Galactus. We're going to get some sick villains in the Spider-Man movie, and then Doomsday and Secret Wars. So there's going to be a lot of more bigger villains out there now. But for these are what we got, and I'm excited to see where they handle the direction of the next couple of films will be. So let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts, and hope you guys enjoy this video. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you next time.